Hello, dear students. I am Dr. Jisha Krishnan from BSc Zoology. Here I would like to share some video lessons for BSc Zoology students, especially those who are in 5th sem. And the concerned paper that I am taking now is Environmental Biology and Wildlife Conservation. Today, I'm starting with a small topic on you, that is an introduction to environmental biology. So, let's go. What does it mean by environmental biology? As all other branches of biology, this is also another branch of science which is concerned with the interrelationships between organisms with their corresponding environment. Or we can say that the external surroundings, which is including both the biotic as well as the abiotic factors of an organism that affect its survival as well as the development in the nature. Or we can see that it's a study of physical, chemical and biological processes which is involved in the exchanges, interactions and interrelationships between organisms and the biotic as well as abiotic environment. From all this definition, it is clear that environmental biology is nothing but it is a interaction of a particular organism or a group of organisms in relation with its environment.
As I told you that it's an interaction between an organism or a group of organisms in relation with abiotic as well as biotic factors. So what does mean by this abiotic and biotic factors? We can see that the biotic factors of an ecosystem includes, as you can see in the picture, they includes primary producers. That means plants, herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, detritivores. So those organisms which are living in nature are known as biotic factors. So what may be abiotic factors? Abiotic factors is nothing but it is the non-living component of an ecosystem, which includes sunlight, temperature, precipitation, water or moisture as well as soil. So these are the factors that affect the development or survival of an organism. The biotic factors includes all these living components, while the abiotic factors includes all the non-living components. The interaction of these two factors constitute the environmental biology, right? Then you may hear that these two terms, ecology and environmental science. Actually, these two terms are synonyms of environmental biology. The term ecology was first coincided by a German biologist who is known as Ernst Haeckel in 1866, and Ernst Haeckel is known as the father of ecology. And according to him, he says that environmental biology or ecology is a study of organisms in their natural home or their largest home. And the term ecology comes from two Greek words, oikos and logos. Oikos means the dwelling place. We can see that it's a home of an organism, and logos means study. So the dwelling place or the home study of an organism is known as ecology. And another synonym is environmental science. So environmental science, that term is put forward by Smith in 1977, and according to him, he states that environmental biology involves the exchange of energy between organisms with their corresponding environment. So these are the two different aspects which is put forward by two different scientists, but it is actually a synonym of environmental biology. What's the difference? You know that what's the difference between environmental science and environmental studies? Environmental science is the study of natural as well as artificial environment of an organism. What does it mean by natural and artificial environment? As the name indicate, the environment that exists naturally in our earth is called natural environment. For example, forest is a natural environment. While in the case of artificial, as the name indicates, artificial environment is the environment which is maintained by human beings. For example, paddy fields, ecosystem, agricultural field, all this environment is manipulated by human being itself. So it is called an artificial environment. So the scientific study of this natural as well as artificial environment is known as environmental science. What does it mean by environmental studies? The studies which is related to the environmental issues is known as environmental studies. For example, the issues which is related to the social, cultural, political and economical aspect of the environment, these all are coming under environmental studies. For example, you may be hear that Madhav Gadgil report that is concerned with the environmental impact on the Western Ghats, Pachimada event, for example. So these kind of issues which is related to the environment is coming under the environmental studies. Okay, then comes the basics or the levels of organization. In the picture, it is clear that there are some terminologies associated with ecology: organism, population, communities, ecosystem, biosphere, etc. So, do you know what is the difference between them? A population is a group of similar individuals or similar species which is having the capability to reproduce fertile offsprings. For example, human beings or human population, you can see that we are all coming under Homo sapiens. So this Homo sapiens, the group of this Homo sapiens or human beings constitute a population, which is called a human population. Or we can see that in another example, frog population. If you are considering a pond contains different kinds of organisms. If you are concentrating only on the frogs or the number of frogs in that particular pond, we can say that it is the population of that frog. Then what is meant by community? The group of different population united together forms a community and how they are interacting with each other. So in the population, we are concentrating on a particular species, while in community there will be different kinds of species. For example, soil biota, those organisms which is dwelling in soil. It consists of worms, bacteria, fungi, reptiles, etc. How these organisms are interacting with each other, they constitute community. Okay, so the population is the group of similar individuals, while community involves the group of different population. Then comes ecosystem. What does mean by ecosystem? The different communities united together forms ecosystem. And what is the peculiarity of ecosystem? Here, the different communities will be communicated with or they will be interacting with the non-living component of the environment. I told you that an ecosystem or an environment biology is the branch of science in which there will be an interrelationship between organism along with its non-living component. This non-living component is constitute abiotic factors. So the interaction of this biotic organism over the abiotic factors constitute the ecosystem. For example, if you are taking the marine ecosystem, or ocean ecosystem, we can see different kinds of organisms like a fish, crabs, lobsters, starfish, phytoplankton, zooplanktons, etc. How they are interacting with the water. It constitutes marine ecosystem or a freshwater ecosystem. And all this ecosystem united together and forms the biosphere. Biosphere is nothing but it is the biotic component of or the biotic area or the biotic uh, regions of our earth. Okay, so that's all about the levels of organization. So in this diagram it is clear that the organism is the basic level, the different organism. Here it is deer, the different organism, these coming together and forms the population, deer population, and the different communities. Here you can see that this is a grassland ecosystem. Here you can see deers are there, horse is there, a man is there, trees are there, herbs are there, shrubs are there, or birds are there. All this together forms the community, and the different communities together forms the ecosystem. Here it is a grassland ecosystem, and the different ecosystem forms the biosphere. Clear? Then this is an example. This is a frog population. Here you can see only frogs. It is a pond community. Here you can see different kinds of organism. A dragonfly is there, a frog is there, a tortoise is there, fish is there, snail is there, and a lot of microbes, microorganisms are there, and they interact with each other, forms the community. Here it is pond community, and this is an aquatic ecosystem. Here all these organisms like whales, fish, and plants are there. All they are interacting with the water. They forms the hydrosphere of the biosphere. These are the common examples, or the examples I have cited for you. And do you know what is the difference between habitat and niche? Habitat is the locality or place or an area where an organism or a population or a community lives. We can say that it is home of an organism. And what is the peculiarity? It will provide food, water, shelter, and a place to reproduce. For example, if you are taking a woodpecker, what is the habitat of a woodpecker? It is a tree. Yeah, it is making holes in the tree. And niche means the functional status of the particular organism which is dwelling in the habitat. So niche is the role or functional status of an organism. We can see that it's a profession of an organism. If you are considering the woodpecker niche is mainly concerned with the catching and eating insects. So the functional role or the niche of woodpecker is for catching and eating insect. And what's the peculiarity of niche? It is generally concerned with the food relation, feeding habitat, energy transformation, resource utilization, and also its interaction with the others. So that is the difference between habitat and niche. One is the dwelling place and another is the role or the behavior of that particular organism. Then, do you know what are the different subdivisions of ecology? Ecology has been divided into three distinct categories, that is horticology, synecology, and habitat ecology. Horticology means it is a study of individual species or a population, and synecology means it is a study of a community or an ecosystem, and habitat ecology, as the name indicates, it is a study of aquatic ecosystem, terrestrial ecosystem, as well as aerial ecosystem. So this is the main branches of ecology, and that's all about the general terminologies or the basics of ecology. And thank you.